Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the O'Rourke Report. Got a lot of stuff to go over today, so let's jump right into it. Okay, before we get to the usual Bravo hijinks, let's talk about a couple of quick little things on the Kardashians. Um, as you know, Kim Kardashian has grown on me over the years. And it's by dint of her hard work. This girl has hustled. And she makes it happen. And you know what? One can admire that. But what happened on this week's episode, I really don't admire. And she's kind of coming down unnecessarily hard on her sister Chloe, who, for her own reasons, is, the journey she's on. She's more of a homebody. She likes to spend time with her kids. She likes a routine. That's how she's living her life. I mean, she's not living the life that Kim values, which is jumping on a PJ to go to Paris for 48 hours and then flying to New York and Miami and everything between. That's got value for Kim, doesn't have value for Chloe. And she's coming down on Chloe for this. Why aren't you out of the house? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I mean, allegedly, it's because she wants her sister to have fun, I guess, but Chloe says, I'm happy just the way I am. And Kim's got to learn to accept that. Um, Chloe's had a tough couple of years. Fame hasn't really brought her, and it hasn't brought Kim that either when you think about it, about her love life. It hasn't really brought her a lot of great things. I mean, last year, they didn't really go into it on the show a lot, but Chloe had some serious skin cancer issues. She had a huge incision on her face. I'm not just talking, a couple of stitches. This was several inches long and very deep. It was serious what she had removed from her face. And these girls live and die by the camera. So you can imagine that was probably very, very tough on her. In addition to the father of her two children, the guy was an absolute hound dog, and humiliated her in a big, splashy, messy way, not once, but twice. You got to feel for Chloe. My cat is in the middle of the screen here. Come here, Chloe, you little crazy baby sweets. Get out of here. So, kind of, dogging on Kim a little bit here. I think she needs to be a little kinder and a little more accepting of her sister's choices and support her more. And which brings us to the other sister, the other Kardashian, not the two Jenner girls, um, Kourtney. Kourtney is on this episode is about to give birth. So really, the episode is about her giving birth, and I just, I honestly, I don't get her. I don't get what she's up to. I don't get what she's trying to prove. Um, even though I've gone on in the past about, I think her relationship with Travis is certainly a very close one and a very touching one. There are a bunch of real creep factors. There's some deep, deep creep factors. I mean, here she is about to give birth to her child, and all she can talk about is how she wants it to be on Halloween. Wouldn't that be great? And she's dressing in skeletons, and of course, he looks. Speaking of looks, I'm watching this week's episode and I say to myself, looking at Travis and I go, okay, I'll ask you guys to be the judge on this one. Is this Travis Barker? Who is this? Travis Barker or Savanarola? You be the judge. Savanarola, of course, was a 15th century Italian monk who ran afoul of the Pope and got burnt at the stake with his ashes thrown in the Arno. But this is the look that Travis Barker goes for. I mean, okay, so you want to dress in skeletons, you want to look like Savanarola. Um, I don't get it. Why do you want to bring your child into such ghoulish type of things? I know they value the ghoulish things, but I don't know, kind of unfair to do that to a child. It seems to me, I know I'm being very judgy there, just putting my 2 cents out. I think the thing that really annoyed me about these two in this week's episode is she's in the hospital room, she's waiting to give birth. They've been there a couple of hours, and they're kind of, things have slowed down, things are not progressing. So Travis decides to take out his drum, a little toy drum, not toy, it was pretty loud in my mind, a drum kit, and sit there drumming as he stares off into space like an escaped mental patient. And he does this for, it's like sitting there listening to a 40-minute drum solo. Wow, tons of fun, huh? Um, and I think to myself, I hope there is nobody else on the floor of that hospital that has to put up with this clown strumming. And even if there is nobody else on the floor, if somehow they cleared the patients from that floor, um, to give the floor to Khloe Kardashian, well, I don't know. But let's say they did. There's still nursing staff, and everybody else has got to listen to this idiot drumming around like some kind of, like I said, escaped mental patient. So anyway, they finally have their baby. Thank God it's not on Halloween. It is literally on November 1st, All Saints Day. So let's say a little prayer for the child. Um, and the child will be just as straight and as conservative as can be to thwart mommy and daddy. And so anyway, I just think they're a little off. I just think they're a little off. Always been my opinion. Okay, let's go on to our friends there in Jersey. It was your typical Jersey episode. You had your two camps, your Teresa and Jen Aydin camp, furiously trying to bring the people straddling the fence over to their side. And then you have the other side, Margaret, the Fuda girl, and I'm forgetting her first name, sorry. And and I'm forgetting her name, the Gorga girl. Oh, forgot it. It's just a bad day today. Um, it was typical. And Danielle Cabral is having another launch for her children's clothing line called Bougie Kids, I think. And it really is a cute little setup. It's kind of garish, but the kids love it. There's cupcakes and there's candy and there's glitter stations. No, Teresa, a children's party can have glitter stations. It's not an adult party. And and so it's really nice. The kids and the one of those things where you jump into the balls and go down slides, and the kids are having a blast. The parents appear to have a blast. It looks like a very successful gala or launch for Danielle's clothes, and everybody shows up. And it's their usual, like I said, one side trying to gather more troops, and the other side just they're circling themselves. And apparently the next episode, which is 2 weeks away, is the final disastrous episode at a restaurant apparently called Rails. And predictably everything goes off the rails, and what they're going to do is the same thing that Vanderpump did, which I thought was just a great idea. They wait until this is going to be their quasi reunion. They're going to have the two warring sides tape at different times, and they're going to run the final episode and ask for comment then. This must be a doozy, because this is where things go off the rails and rails, that the producers said, ugh, we can't do a reunion. Everybody's got to be on pause. This is a train wreck of epic proportion. So that's 2 weeks' time. Believe me, I'm sure we'll all have plenty to say about it. Small little thing happened. I think it was yesterday. I saw it on the internets. It was on Instagram. Evidently, Jennifer Aydin was holding up a phone as though she was, reporter on the street to an incident that was occurring in a hospital. And it was in the corridors of a hospital. She was there with her brother's in-laws, I believe, and there was a whole passel of them, 5 or 6, all milling around. She's with the camera. Aiden is taking lead, trying to berate some security people who have come over to this party of people because they have triggered an alarm. They triggered an alarm by going through a door that was clearly marked no entry, but Aiden thought she was, not beholding to the rules like the rest of us peons, and they triggered the alarm, which brought the security people with Aiden. Butter wouldn't melt in this one's mouth. Just no shame, no shame. You think if you'd done something like that, even if it was inadvertent or done on purpose, first words out of your mouth should be, "I am so sorry, I made a mistake." You would think, not her. She's going to balls it out to the end. And she's got this little smirk on her face as she looks in the camera, and she tries to intimidate these poor security people. Now, side note, what I read today or heard today on one of the sites is this is a hospital where her husband, as a surgeon, has hospital rights. Well, Jennifer, I think if you start effing up Bill's practice, with his hospital rights, we may see the end finally of Jen Aydin, because can't imagine if the husband didn't put his foot down, because he is the source of their income in a big way. Although I'm sure she makes a salary from the Housewives. She's not on the same level as some of the OGs, but she makes the salary. She didn't make the salary with all those kids and the house and the mortgage. She couldn't afford her lifestyle. So, not too smart. Not a great time for you to choose to be a bit of a monster there, Aiden. But I think it was true to form. So anyway, do 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 do. You know what I think is kind of cringy? How every housewife franchise does this. They always have galas that are some charity that they're supporting, and they wanted to reflect well on themselves, that they're charitable, and I guess they're using their fame for good. So in that way, I guess that is good news. But I always think it's kind of cringy because I don't think there's an ounce of sincerity in any of them. It's there for camera time. They get to slap their name on something to make them look better, and I just think it's kind of cringy. Mm-mm-mm. Other thing, little small thing, Fessler in this episode, she's going back and forth. And she says incendiary things about the opposition depending on who she's talking to. She is going to get caught in the crossfire, and as I've said before, if you don't stand with either side, you stand for nothing. And she stands for nothing, and she tries to play both sides depending on who she's with. And if you want to see the opposing sides get together and go after someone, it may happen to old Messy Fessy, as they say. Two others, small little things. Ozempic face. Both Teresa and Margaret have it. And what that is they are, have done Ozempic. They've lost the 10, 15 pounds that they wanted to lose. Small amounts, not big amounts like some of us need to lose. Um, and they get gaunt. Their face is just gaunt. They lose the softness of their face, and it really is not. And now in Teresa's case, all that's left over are these artificially inflated duck lips that she has. Now she's not quite as bad, but boy, she is millimeters away. Uh, uh, as bad as Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos's paramour. I mean, I think she can still close both lips, but like I said, she is millimeters away from that. The lips are just horrible. And Margaret looks like Skeletor. Margaret has these last couple of episodes, good for her. It's probably a lot easier. Has gone without makeup and her hair slicked back like models wear their hair. Well, it doesn't really work with Margaret's hair, which is very, let's just say, sparse and overly processed. And without the makeup, she looks like Skeletor. Now, I don't wear makeup either. But Margot without makeup, not too good. I have a little lipstick on. Let me just say that. So my final thing I'm going to say is something that really kind of annoyed me. Because the last thing I want to see is a Gen 2 of any housewife, and that is their kid. And the last thing I want to see is the Teresa 2.0. And that's what we saw this week. Her daughter Gia came specifically to pick a fight with John Fuda. Well, gee, Gia, I thought you were going to law school. What, are you still doing that? If you passed your LSATs or whatever it is, I can't wait to hear the school she gets into. Let's put it this way: it's not going to be Yale Law. Um, Girl, and this is what your career is going to be? You're going to be, pulling the same shite your mother pulls? Yeah. Nothing to aspire for. My 2 cents. I know it's probably not popular. Okay, quick little thing, and I'm going to. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah. Ooh, okay, no. We are going to go to the 15th anniversary of Watch What Happens Live, which I do watch every night. I've always been a fan of Andy. Andy used to do this little blog column. This is years ago. It was at bravo.com. And I always used to send him in questions and stuff. And he answered me a couple of times. Oh, Deirdre, by the way, blah, blah, blah. So, believe me, he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. I think it's because I have the same name as his executive producer, which I think is Deirdre Connolly. So anyway, I've always been a fan of Andy. As I watch this show all the time, I was really looking forward to this reunion because it was going to have Jeff Lewis on there, and I think I said last week how much I love Jeff Lewis. Jeff Lewis is a messy, ton of fun guest on Watch What Happens Live. So the first two that come out are Portia and Phaedra. Freaking frack, we're back. It was so cute to see them. But I gotta tell you, if you can see this episode, if it's on demand someplace, you gotta see Portia in red. She has got this outfit on. It looks like a beautiful goddess. She is absolutely stunning. I couldn't get over how great she looked. Two more to come out were Sonia and the Countess. The Countess, while she looked great, she looked very, very pretty. I think she's had some very subtle work done, and whoever did it, as Ramona Singer would say, kudos, because she looks very pretty. She doesn't look stunningly beautiful like Portia does, but she looks very pretty. Sonia, predictably, living a hard life. Living a hard life is the way I say it. And she tried out some of her comedy stylings. Never thought she was funny. And I would like to have a strong talking to whoever told her she was funny. Because it's always cringy when she tries to do comedy. So, and Jeff Lewis was kind of, I thought he was kind of quiet. I don't know why he was on his best behavior, but he was. Apparently, he and Teresa had some words in the back. Teresa, in her usual Jersey elegant way, tries to intimidate him with his mouth. And he's smart enough to keep his mouth shut. He looked very good. He looked very good and elegant, and it was a cute little show. It went on for an hour. Two of my favorite people were at the bar. Andy's parents, Lou and Evelyn. Thought they were great, and all in all, really thought it was a good show. So, anyway, that's all I have. Don't have a lot. And I'm sure I'll have more in the coming days. And until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, I always forget to say this. Please, if you like what you saw and if you're still with me, please hit the subscribe button and please hit the like button. It helps me with my analytics with the YouTubians. And I really appreciate it if you could do that. And again, thank you so much for dropping by, and we'll talk soon.